Connecting with audiences through music has been a very rewarding journey. Music will always be a catalyst that inspires and it connects people, and I'm convinced that that's why it works so well in my presentations. The feedback from organizations is that audience engagement stays high throughout the whole presentation, and that the live music component is the key driver in creating that engagement. Clients appreciate the power of using musical metaphors and as it helps their teams to embrace their own values, and it works. You know, we're at this moment in history when the need for hope is critical. And I love that point when someone responds to the hope that comes from a story, comes from a song, some relevant information. It's as if they're giving themselves permission to move forward. When organizations go through challenges, people can struggle. But one of the things that I talk about is the art of playing people back in. As a musician, I can get lost in a piece of music, especially if it's an intricate piece. But a good band will simply play me back into the right spot. There's a great story from Frank Sinatra that illustrates this really well. Frank Sinatra, on one of his last concerts, came out on the stage. It's a beautiful story. He came out on the stage and he goes to sing My Way, or one of his big anthems. And he gets out there, and of course his memory is gone. Cognitively, he's not there. He can still sing. He goes, a band does the big intro, and Frank just stands there, Madison Square Gardens. Doesn't say a thing. Eventually the band drops out and it goes silent. What do? Frank's not singing. He's just standing there. And someone in the back of the, I get emotional, I'm old now, I get emotional. Someone in the back of the Madison Square Garden yelled out as loud as they could, "We love you, Frank!" And he looks up and says, "Love you too, pal." Points to the band, comes back in, and he nails the song. But just that affirmation for Frank, and the guy who tells the story, is beautiful. But just the affirmation from Frank, someone just out of the blue played Frank back in. So that's habit number 3, play each other back in. We get lost in music all the time. Play each other back in wherever you can, at work, in your family, wherever that looks like. And you need someone to do that for you too. Being involved in something like CBC's New Year's Eve extravaganza in front of thousands of people is great. There's a real sense of excitement in that. I love creating an intentionally positive experience for audiences. But in a healthcare environment, there's that same excitement as I watch music have a positive impact on a patient who is just struggling to move forward. And you want your teams to experience positive forward motion as well. So my goal as an active partner with you in this process is helping teams and managers connect and find resilience and create hope. This unique delivery model is an excellent recharge for organizations with established growth plans in place, or a vital building block for organizations implementing new growth strategies. When speaking with audiences, I get the sense that we all wrestle with having made a mistake at one point in our lives. It's like a musician playing a wrong note. Beethoven gives us great insight into the value of taking a wrong note and making something beautiful out of it, creating success from it rather than being stopped by it. Ooh, not good. See, I'd shy away from that, but Beethoven didn't. Here's what Beethoven did. See, I think we're all there, and I think sometimes we're too hard on ourselves, and I think sometimes we should think a little bit more like Beethoven and say, you know what, I did mess that up, or I did have this thing in my life, this experience, or whatever it was, and maybe incorporate that into your story. And you don't need to relish. He didn't stay on it, but he didn't pretend it wasn't there either, and it makes a more beautiful life. It makes a more beautiful song when sometimes we can incorporate what we perceive to be sour notes. Resilience is always going to be an important factor in our lives. When the pandemic hit, as a musician, I lost about 90% of my income almost overnight. Our business had to pivot. We went virtual. We re-engaged audiences in a whole new format. But this wasn't just the first time that this kind of challenge had happened. About 10 years prior, a contract with a jazz trio at a Fairmont resort was canceled just a month prior to starting our 13th year. But the bills didn't stop. So I started working with a friend who owned a window cleaning business. Suddenly, I was not in a tux, at a grand piano, at a world-class resort, but I was now cold calling for cash jobs and hanging out high-rise buildings. What a change. But I guess like good communication, window cleaning helps people see more clearly.
Constant communication. Oh, it's perfect. Thanks.
The best part is that I learned a lot about teamwork and trust hanging off those high rises. And that helps me deliver these concepts effectively. In our current climate, relationships are already stressed. Whether we're finishing a job, ending a contract, or just saying goodbye as we leave for work, we have to understand the value of ending well. There's a fun story that demonstrates that even when a song gets messy in the middle, and sometimes it does, that we can salvage much of it just by how we choose to end. I said, and I don't know how this goes. The mother of the bride came up and she handed me $100, and I said, oh yeah, no, actually I know. I know this one. So I had to play this song, and it was in the key of C minor. So I'm fumbling through it, and he keeps looking over at me. I keep staring at him like he's making mistakes, and we're battling back and forth. But it didn't matter because he was all over the place. His pitch was out of there, and I was all over the place. But at the end, so we're kind of fumbling through, and in the last few bars I went... And it did not matter. They did that. They're like, that's great. I don't know what he did, but... Even virtually, you know when you're connecting with an audience in real time. Comments are popping up on the screen. It's distracting in a fun way, but it means I have connected with the audience. Positive connections are really what we all need. And music plays such a powerful role in this, and it gives the audience a memorable experience that it helps them retain those valuable tools they received during our time together. When we have good connections, we feel hope, and hope moves us forward.